Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games. Here I'm actually on camera versus Aiden on Doomsday. This must have been smaller events, maybe 9 players hopping in to make 10, something like that. And we see an absolute punish, a garbage hand, a bunch of lands with a Brainstorm and a fetch land, along with a Narcomoeba, and Aiden completely obliterates it with a Thoughtseize, a very weak keep, and got supremely punished for it right there. Otherwise, a very strong matchup, I think, for Breakfast. I think Doomsday is one of the absolute best decks in the format, as is Breakfast. I think the difference is the types of disruption. Doomsday has discard, Cephalid Breakfast has a little bit of it, but mostly the counter magic cancels out, and then Orim's Chant ends up potentially extremely important. I'm on a playset of the card, and I think it's probably, I guess I would say, the better the format is, like the more powerful, not necessarily the most fun, just in general, the higher the power level, Orim's Chant is just going to end up being stronger. There may be a tipping point where 1 mana is just too much, but in terms of 1 mana interaction, Chant really does say not today. Like maybe later, but not today. And definitely mess with Doomsday piles, make a absolute mockery of cards like Dark Ritual. It's an absolute menace for any type of floating mana. So if you're sacrificing Lotus Petals or anything like that and not able to do what you need to with those cards, it's a real mess. Incredibly strong versus any type of storm mechanism where you need momentum from the previous plays to carry through to the finish line, and if passing to the next turn is potentially just not going to work. Now, Doomsday is resolving here. I'm going to go ahead and skip over the rest of that. It's about fast effect here. Can actually skip over the shuffling. Aiden deliberated for quite a bit, was unable to find a win on that turn, so he had to pass. Jams a Thassa's Oracle, cards left in the library. Not sure what the other two were. Might have been something like a Cavern, another Cephalid, but with 2 cards left in the library, that is still going to get there while also not losing to a Force of Will if I happen to have one, which would be extremely unlikely if Doomsday is resolving. Would need to be top-decked card past the turn. Here we go for game number 2. Breakfast on the play. Oh, that looks like a good one. Force of Will and I think the combo? Turn 1 Nomads. And I will say for a lot of the keepable range, as Oracle, for not familiar, possibly the best win condition ever. Not the keepable range for Breakfast that includes a turn 1 Nomad just has the Cephalid. Very often you don't want to run out your Nomads. It may not end up being worthwhile versus a deck like Doomsday. Want to keep abundant cards, and might even be better off winning Urza's Saga, turning into a Shuko. Have Doomsday is resolving. Got some cycling Street Wraith into Lion's Eye Diamond. Aiden can move all in. Has another Street Wraith, he can cycle it, crack LED in response. Oh, it looks like Cephalid was the only blue card in hand. Threw a step through. Would have found another Cephalid if I did have to force pitching Cephalid previously, but instead it's going to be a turn 2 going for the win. Force backup, pitch to step through. That's a wrap. Chant also available, so that would have been a potential problem, even if I wasn't going for the win there. And the longer the game goes, the more of a trump card Orm's Chant becomes. For those unfamiliar with the combo, I recommend checking out all of the videos on the channel with breakfast. I mean, there's a ton of them, and they will mostly show you the full walkthrough of milling yourself out with Cephalid Illusionist into your Narcomoebas, Dread returning for Thassa's Oracle, find Cabal Therapy along the way, and can strip your opponent's hand. That is an interesting card in the deck right now. It's definitely one that I'm under careful consideration of how many copies I actually want. I'm still on 2 copies. It is often sideboarded down to 1. In really, really complicated matchups, there are times where I will sideboard out both, but you can really get punished for that, drawing your Dread return or not having access to your Thassa's Oracle from hand. If you're extremely confident that you're not going to be going through the graveyard, it's a totally reasonable card to sideboard out. Therapy is really in there for your win from the graveyard. I mean, if you were 100% sure your opponent was going to start with a Leyline in play, then I suppose you actually would just board out your Cabal Therapies, Dread Returns, and Narcomoebas and just play it like a 3-card combo. Passes Oracle into hand. Cast it once you have no library, or fill out your entire library in response to her trigger. A couple of Thassa's Oracle decks, both taking just very different approaches to how they're getting rid of the library. Probably could be some type of hybrid out there. Main issue with Doomsday is it does really need to run Dark Ritual to get triple black. The hardest requirement, honestly. Not the worst. And you can just cast with 3 Underground Seas. It does happen. In general, really looking for the triple black off of your Dark Ritual. Riz's Saga, slow way to find that Shuko. A couple more turns. And a Doomsday being put on the stack again. And it looks like Force of Negation is going to try and shut this down. It will. Riz's Saga on board. Also an end of turn Brainstorm, so that is a scary situation for those who've played against Breakfast. Step Through was pitched to Force of Negation, and Brainstorm was not fired off prior to casting Force of Negation. So that's actually pretty scary. That likely implies things are looking very good on the other side of the table. Ponder the being a keep. Looks like Force of Will and the combo available. Aiden jams another Doomsday. Skip over the shuffling. So his pile resulted in a passed turn. Drawing for turn, sacrificing Riz's Saga. Shuko. Slightly wrong order there. The Saga actually shouldn't be in the graveyard until that's Shuko's on board. Here's an Orm's Chant, still 1 floating. To put things into the realm of needing a Fairy Macabre. Force back. Chant resolves. There's the Cephalid. Couple of Street Wraiths. Aiden taking a look at a pile. I don't think there was going to be anything there that would actually win through Orm's Chant and counter magic. If you would have made that Doomsday pile any different, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. For more magic from ELD's Time Vault games, be sure to subscribe and check out more videos just for you over here.